Good evening, everybody. We will call the special common council meeting to order, and I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Weigel.
Here.
Grisham.
Excused.
Grobe.
Here.
Haas.
Here.
Halverson.
Here.
Keen. Here. Novak. Here. Noling. Here. Rhodes.
Here.
Turner.
Here.
9 present, 1 excused.
Thank you. We have a quorum present. Please rise if you are able and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led this evening by Alderman Weigel. Thank you. Item D, we have no minutes to approve, so we will go right to item E, and I will ask the clerk to read out item number 1.
Summons and complaint against Stefik LLC, doing business as The Drunk Uncle, 1902 South 68th Street, Agent Neil Stefik.
Thank you, and I'm going to turn it over to Attorney Decker.
Thank you, Mayor. Before the council tonight is a summons and complaint that was filed against Stefik LLC. This is a process under state law that allows any resident of the city to file a complaint against an alcohol licensee. The city is required to conduct that hearing within 3 to 10 days, which is why it was jumped onto this special meeting that was already scheduled for a development matter. So it's just within that time frame, and that's why it's before you tonight. This is just the initial appearance. So what the summons compels the licensee to do is appear tonight and then either admit or deny the complaint. There are several different counts within this complaint, and so it's my opinion that the person could come and could admit to some and deny some, just so that it's clear for the council, for the licensee, and everyone else. If the licensee steps up to the podium and admits to the complaint, then the matter will be taken as true, and another hearing date will be scheduled for any type of suspension or revocation. And that'll be a separate argument on that date between the prosecution and the licensee. If the licensee denies any or all portion of the complaint, then the matter will be scheduled for a quasi-judicial hearing on a later date. So as of tonight, the only thing that happens is an appearance by the licensee and then stating whether they admit, deny, or admit in part and deny in part. And then after that, we'll schedule another date. So just wanted to make sure that's clear out there, and if anyone has any questions, I am happy to field those.
So then we do not vote, we just hear and then move on?
Correct. There won't be a vote that happens tonight because there's not going to be a final decision that the council can make tonight. Okay. My request would be that, depending on what the licensee says, that a member of the council move to schedule a hearing in this matter, and you could either pick the date tonight or you could ask staff to pick the date on a later time.
Thank you. Questions from the council? No questions? Then do we invite the applicant up to declare their denial or their?
Yes, so if the licensee could just step up.
Please turn on the microphone by pushing the little button.
Good afternoon, everybody.
All right, so just to clear a few things up here, are you Mr. Stefik?
I am.
Are you the agent for the licensee, Stefik LLC?
Yes.
Licensed premises being 1902 South 68th Street in West Dallas?
Yep.
All right. Did you receive a copy of the complaint?
Yes.
And did you read the counts on that complaint?
Yes.
And then, at this point in time, did you hear what I just said before about what the outcome would be if you admit or deny any parts of that complaint?
I did.
And do you admit or deny any or all of those counts?
Deny.
All right. Given that, I would ask that the council move to schedule a quasi-judicial hearing on this complaint. If you'd like to try to pick a date right now, you can do so, or you can delegate that to staff.
Thank you. I don't want to speak for the council, but it might be better to, unless you guys think the 9 of you can agree on a date and guess on the 10th. Delegate to staff. Any objection to that? Be ready for a doodle poll? All right.
All right, if there's no objection, then that's what we'll do, is we'll have staff schedule it, and city clerk probably be the one to make those arrangements.
Okay.
And then, Mr. Stefik, the phone number that you gave on your license, is that a good number to contact you with scheduling?
Yes, it is.
All right, thank you. And if you do hire an attorney for anything, please alert the clerk as soon as you do.
Absolutely, yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, then we will move on to item number 2. I'll ask the clerk to read that out.
Resolution to approve an allocation of up to $250,000 to the Community Development Authority of the City of West Dallas to acquire the property located at 1405 South 92nd Street, parcel ID 450-0502-000.
Thank you very much. I'll turn it over to staff.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the Common Council. I've been informed I have 25 hours and 4 minutes to highlight this development tonight, but then Tracy said my mic would be turned off, so. I'd like to mention that we've been in conversations with a developer named F Street. They are a well-known Milwaukee developer with projects around the metro area up to Sheboygan, Oak Creek, and Brown Deer, etc. They developed the conceptual development for the property known in West Dallas as the former St. Al's Church, which is 92nd and Greenfield. It's around a 3-acre parcel, and their development highlights 52 garden-style apartments, which are townhome, walk-up units, individual walk-ups, garages, etc. And there would be a 100-unit multifamily development that would accompany those units. The estimated construction cost is around $40 million, and an estimated taxable assessed value of around $28.8 million. Here's some conceptual images of what the project would look like. We are in the early part of the process. I'm going to get into some of those details and why it's early yet, but these are images of some of the developments they have going on in the Metro Milwaukee area relative to townhomes. And here's a concept of like a multifamily development that could be on the corner of 92nd and Greenfield. These are projects that F Street has constructed. The estimated timeline, they have negotiated an acquisition of the property from the current property owner, which is Cardinal Capital, a closing date on the land by April 15th. Plan Commission submittal probably late April, and May Plan Commission. Demolition of the property through the LOI agreement that the CDA approved last night would be late summer, as well as a development agreement and a discussion of tax increment financing. Financing would be later in 2025. Hopefully break ground by late this year for the townhomes or the apartment building. One of those will start first, and then the other would start later. That's still not determined. The estimated cost for demolition is around $1.2 million to $1.7 million. This work would be performed by F Street. So the developer and the city have worked out a letter of intent. And the proposal is for F Street to purchase the property. That's what they've negotiated. The CDA would take an assignment of that offer to purchase. So in actuality, the CDA purchases the site, and then we would do a land contract back to F Street while they work through their due diligence. This protects the city's interests on the site, and then if it doesn't materialize into a project, the city would then retain the site for other developers. F Street would be responsible for the maintenance of the property. I know that's been somewhat of a question, as it is vacant and blighted right now, and there are nuisance concerns. The idea here is that we start getting through the whole financing, getting construction bids, and work into the development agreement as we go, but this is the framework to move forward. The reason we are asking the council tonight for $250,000, that $250,000 would go to the CDA and for the acquisition of the property. The negotiated purchase price between F Street and Cardinal Capital is $860,000. This would be loaned to F Street. So of that $860,000, $625,000 is that note that is remaining that the CDA acquired from Tri-City. That's the note between Cardinal and Tri-City. The CDA acquired that. Currently it is in foreclosure. So we are taking that issue and blending it into the acquisition of the property. And then we would loan that at 1% over the state trust fund rate. You see in the upper right-hand corner, I think it's right or left, one of those two. You see that the interest rate is around 5.50. We would charge 1% over the state trust fund amount, which would be 6.50. And then the developer would pay 50% of that interest rate payment per month, and the other 50% would accrue, and this is a 12-month term. So that for the acquisition, the $860 gets repaid when we get into the construction financing of the project to the city. There's another part that would be part of the LOI, which would come back later, is there would be borrowing necessary to do the demolition of the property. The CDA did last night recommend that we move forward with the demolition. You can see we, through the LOI that's been negotiated, is around $1 million for a loan to help assist with the demolition of the property. This is paid off when the construction financing is obtained. And then as we started looking at early numbers, there's a chance that tax increment financing would be necessary, and we'll work through that through the negotiation process. But the idea here is that because it is in a blighted condition, the object is to get the site ready for development, and doing this loan will help expedite that process. As I mentioned before, the extra $250,000 is to help meet the $860,000 necessary to close, and we hope to close next week prior to the April 15th date as it relates to the foreclosure issue with the Cardinal Capital note. And that's why we have a special counsel tonight to address that. I'd gladly answer any more questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Schloss. Are there any questions from the council on our second item?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Haas.
Thank you. And Patrick, so to be clear, we're giving $250,000 to the CDA. Where's the $250,000 coming from? That's from the state loan fund?
Good question. It actually will be city's operating reserve.
Okay.
The
and we
250, just like we did the 6 1/4, it's out of the city's operating reserve. The $1 million would probably have to go to the state trust fund for that borrowing.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the council? If not, can we get a motion and a second?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion by Alderwoman Keene and a second by Alderwoman Noling. If there's no other discussion, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Weigel?
Aye.
Grob?
Aye.
Haas?
Aye.
Halverson?
Aye.
Keen?
Aye.
Novak?
Aye.
Noling?
Aye.
Rote?
Aye.
Turner?
Aye.
9 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries.
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Haas.
I move that we adjourn until our next scheduled council meeting, Tuesday, April 15th.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.